Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 26th of September 2021. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Consider the following statements with respect to COVAX. It is a global science initiative established in 2008 that provides open access to genomic data of influenza viruses and the coronavirus responsible for the COVID-19 pandemic. It is co-led by Gavi, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, which is CEPI, and the World Health Organization. COVAX is one of the three pillars of the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator or ACT Accelerator. Which of the given statements is or are correct? What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper today talks about vaccine inequality. While on one hand, many of the high-income and middle-income countries have received sufficient supply of COVID-19 vaccine, and also while some of these countries have been contemplating on booster shots of vaccine, on the other hand, out of the total vaccine administered globally, a meager 2% has been received by Africa. When Africa's efforts to buy vaccines was unsuccessful, COVAX and the World Health Organization wanted Africa and such countries to produce their own vaccine. But these countries needed technology transfer to produce these vaccines, right? This article brings to light that the mRNA vaccine manufacturers are reluctant to share the technology and know-how to these countries. And this is where COVAX comes in. So what exactly is COVAX? COVAX is a global initiative that aims at ensuring equitable access to COVID-19 vaccine by all the countries. It is not a global initiative to provide open access to genomic data of influenza viruses or the coronavirus, so this statement becomes incorrect. Open access to genomic data of influenza viruses and the coronavirus is provided by GIS aid. Statement number 2 is correct. It is co-led by Gavi, the CEPI and the World Health Organization. Talking about statement number 3. The ACT Accelerator is also a global collaboration. This collaboration looks at accelerating the development, production and equitable access to COVID-19 tests, treatments as well as vaccines. And this was launched in April 2020. This ACT Accelerator has three different pillars, one being the diagnostic pillar. The diagnostics pillar has invested in innovation for faster, accurate and affordable tests to detect the infection. The next one is the therapeutics pillar. This pillar aims to find most promising treatments for COVID-19. And the last one is the vaccines pillar, which is COVAX, for global procurement of vaccines and to ensure equitable access of vaccines. So statement number 3 is correct. So the right answer to our question would be option A, 2 and 3 only. Moving on to question number 2. This region is an evergreen lowland forest located between the branches of river Periyar. It was the first bird sanctuary in Kerala. The sanctuary was notified in 1983 based on a recommendation made by Dr. Salim Ali. The bird sanctuary being talked about is option A, Kumarakom Bird Sanctuary, option B, Thattekad Bird Sanctuary, option C, Patiramanal Bird Sanctuary, option D, Mangalavanam Bird Sanctuary. The right answer to this question is option B, Thattekad Bird Sanctuary. Thattekad literally translates to flat forest. This region, which is an evergreen lowland forest, is located between the branches of Periyar River in Kerala, and it is one of the top bird sanctuaries in Kerala. It is also known as the Salim Ali Bird Sanctuary and was notified in the year 1983 based on a recommendation made by Dr. Salim Ali, who is an Indian ornithologist and a naturalist. So Dr. Salim Ali is popular as the bird man of India. He was the first Indian to conduct systematic bird surveys across India. Also, please note that this Thattekad Bird Sanctuary, which is in Kerala, along the branches of the river Periyar, was the first bird sanctuary in Kerala. We've taken this question because there is an article in the Hindu newspaper today that talks about cleaning drive that was organized on Periyar River in Kerala. Here is a task for you for today. The task is to let me know two things. Number 1, where does river Periyar originate? Number 2, which are the major tributaries of the river? Do drop your answers in the comment section below. Now let us take up question number 3. Which of the given pairs is or are correctly matched? Number 1, Chinook, United States of America. Number 2, AH-64 Apache, Russia. Number 3. Ka-226D utility helicopters, Israel. Why this question? In the front page of the Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper today, there is a mention of the Chinook helicopter and hence this question. Let us have a look at the first pair. India has procured Chinook helicopters from the United States of America. It is a twin-engined heavy lift helicopter and gets its name from the Native American Chinook people of Washington state. So number 1 is correctly matched. The AH-64 Apache is one of the world's most advanced multi-role combat helicopter and it is used by the US Army. India was the 16th nation to procure this combat helicopter from the US. Both of these are manufactured by Boeing and are US made helicopters, so number 2 would become incorrect. Coming to Ka-226D utility helicopters. India and Russia had signed an intergovernmental agreement back in the year 2015 for procurement of Ka-226D. So this is meant to replace the Cheetah and Chetak fleet of Army and Indian Air Force. But please remember that these helicopters were to be locally manufactured with the transfer of technology from Russia. However, the final deal is still held up because of indigenous content requirement. This is a Russian helicopter, so number 3 is also incorrect. So the right answer to our question is option A, 1 only. Let us move on to question number 4. Hamboting La, recently seen in news, is located in option A, Sikkim, option B, Arunachal Pradesh, option C, Ladakh, option D, Himachal Pradesh. What is the context? Hamboting La is in news because Doordarshan and All India radio transmitters have been launched at Hamboting La. So where is Hamboting La? It is near Kargil in Ladakh. It is a high mountain pass at an elevation of about 13,300 feet above sea level. And these transmitters at Hamboting La are the highest altitude TV and radio transmitters in India. This is very significant as these transmitters have been installed despite difficult geographical terrain and hostile weather conditions. So the right answer to our question would be option C, Ladakh. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2017. Which of the following statements best describes the term Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets, which is S4A, recently seen in the news? Option A. It is a procedure for considering ecological costs of developmental schemes formulated by the government. Option B. It is a scheme of RBI for reworking the financial structure of big corporate entities facing genuine difficulties. Option C. It is a disinvestment plan of the government regarding central public sector undertakings. Option D. It is an important provision in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code recently implemented by the government. The right answer to this question would be option B. The Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets, also known as S4A, was launched in the year 2016 by the Reserve Bank of India. This S4A was an initiative to address and resolve the debt issues of the corporate sector, and it was also launched to strengthen the ability of the lenders to deal with stressed assets. Therefore, option B would be the right answer. The fact of the day for today is National Mission on Cultural Mapping. There is this article in the Hindu newspaper today that talks about the National Mission on Cultural Mapping. This National Mission on Cultural Mapping, also known as NMCM, was set up by the Ministry of Culture in the year 2017. So, this was a mission mode project of the Ministry of Culture. The ministry had approved this mission with a budget of Rs 469 crore from 2017 to 18 and to 19 to 20. So why was this mission launched? The Cultural Mapping Mission was launched so that a comprehensive database could be built. That is, a database of artists, a database of different art forms in India, and the database of other resources from the organizations under this ministry. So the primary goal of the mission is to compile data of artists, art forms and geolocations, and this would be done with inputs from the central ministries, the state governments and also the art and culture bodies across the country. So in order to capture data and create a database, a specially designed data capture form was formulated, and this was done with technical collaboration with National E-Governance Division. So what exactly are the objectives of this mission? See, India is a culturally diverse and vibrant country. So, the objective of this mission is to preserve this rich Indian cultural heritage, the rich Indian art and art forms. And for this purpose, it wants to implement cultural mapping. That is, using wide range of research techniques and tools to map people's tangible and intangible cultural assets. So once the data is collected, this cultural map will comprise of the cultural assets, both tangible and intangible, of distinct people across India. Also, this documentation and mapping will lead to further interest in these communities, and this will lead to involvement of the government agencies to make laws to safeguard their rights over their land, their cultural spaces, and also their performing arts. Another objective is to fulfill the aspirations of the artists across the country and also to preserve these cultural heritages for future generations. So, this national mission on cultural mapping also seeks to open a direct channel of communication, that is, of artists with the government, and also peer to peer communication so that they can handhold each other. And the latest development with respect to this mission is that it has been handed over to Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. Why? What was the issue? This project has been very slow to take off. So far, close to 14.5 lakh artists have been registered on the NMCM portal through the secondary sources, but there has not been any sort of direct benefit or assistance through this mission to the registered artists. That is why, since not much progress was made under this mission since the time it was launched, it has now been handed over to Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.